the whole in motion, dot, 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 in motion, if you want to think of it that way, is kind of an underlying philosophy, almost sort of an aesthetic philosophy of the game. So we obviously kind of led with that because, you know, at the point where we made our big announcement, our big debut at E3, I think, you know, we were keen to show a sort of a quality level, you know, in terms of like what the wrapper of the game was going to be like for people, particularly, you know, since you're trying to make a splash against the backdrop of all that noise in the rest of the industry. As we've moved forward, it just means we've been able to spend a lot of time focusing on other features, right, on the actual granular details of the game. So the in-motion part of it is still stitching all that stuff together, but I think of it as kind of an umbrella. We've kind of unboxed the game for people now. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of it. For us, it was intentional that we needed to come up with something that could be delivered and shown to people very, very quickly. And one of the biggest challenges with the stealthier aspects of the game, and actually even just with the more systemic aspects of the game, is that it's hard to give somebody that kind of 15-second soundbite or that 5-minute demo or video that's going to explain the depth of the game and also the implications of that, because that's something you find out through playing. It's something you find out by watching multiple videos or by watching someone demo it over a period of time. So I think it was we understood going in that by leading with something that was kind of a bit more explosive and action-driven, that we were certainly going to get people talking and that we were going to have to respond to that, which we have. I mean, and that's why we have a really good community manager who's focused on communicating with like the hardcore Splinter Cell fans and making sure that we give them lots of visibility on the rest of the game.
And another aspect that will be pleasing fans is the perfectionist mode.
Right.
So maybe you could just sort of talk about what that'll do for you.
Yeah, I mean, so with the difficulty modes, of course, it's you're going to hear me couch my terms because that's probably one of the last things that gets finalized in any game because you're constantly tweaking and tuning it. But the general idea is that in addition to the kind of three obvious sort of difficulty modes that we have, you know, the rookie, the normal, and the realistic, we wanted to add a kind of fourth mode, which is almost sort of a meta mode. It's almost adding like the house rules component to it, which says, well, if you're a purist, you're going to play without the benefit of last known position, without being able to execute targets, without being able to like see through walls with your goggles and all that. So it's essentially, you know, saying if you're a traditionalist as a Splinter Cell player, what would you want to have and not have? In addition to obviously making it very, very difficult for you to just blaze away in combat.
You mentioned in the presentation that you were taking stock of what Conviction did right and Conviction did wrong.
Right.
I'd be interested to know like what you think Conviction did wrong and also right as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're not shy about it. I think you know, we all acknowledged, I mean, there's a couple things, like, it was a no-brainer that we needed to bring Spies versus Mercs back. Yeah. And I guess I can't necessarily call that a mistake. I think if we'd tried to put it into Conviction, we probably would have ended up doing a mediocre job of it, and I think we knew that, so I think we opted to pick our battles carefully, and I know people, of course, are always disappointed when they don't have the thing that they like about a series, but we're really happy that we're able to bring it back at a point where we know we can do it right. Sam is meant to be, you know, among the most elite operatives in the world, right? Well, how do we let the player experience that? How do we put the player in the shoes of someone who has that kind of training? That was actually one of the original things that we were trying to tackle in Conviction, and that's what precipitated things like Mark and Execute and the last known position, which is just the idea that, you know, view the world through Sam's eyes. There's his understanding about what his enemy's doing, there's his understanding about where his targets are, there's his understanding about how he deals with the world tactically. You know, he's not just a guy that just sits there and throws bullets at problems. He waits for the perfect moment and he acts, right? And so that was kind of the beginning of that philosophically. What we didn't have a chance to deliver on Conviction that we really wanted to be able to explore with Splinter Cell Blacklist was the idea that, you know, there's a range of gadgets, there's a range of weapons, there's the op suit, the goggles, the vision modes, all that stuff reflect an approach and a style of play, right? So that there are gadgets that are specifically designed to be stealthy. You know, there's gadgets that are specifically designed to be non-lethal and only knock out, you know, technology, for example, like that. And so I would say it just means that the various play styles that we've been talking about extend also into the customization system. You know, and it's not like we say, oh, sorry, you only have ghost points, you can't spend ghost points on grenades. It doesn't work that way. All of the points effectively translate into dollars. You can spend those dollars however you like. You know, you could be naturally an assault player and go, you know what, I wish I was stealthier so that I could enjoy the game in a different way. So maybe you go spend your money on things that make you stealthier and give you an advantage in stealth, so that when you get in the game, it's actually easier for you to be stealthy, right? We really wanted to make it more that, you know, you can unlock things. Charlie, as your tech guy, develops the ability to give you certain kinds of gear and weapons as you spend money on him, and that's really the main way the player can throttle the pace of development for tech.